get a thumbnail. Happy Monday, guys. Hopefully the week has started off great. Fat is behind this camera. He can't even believe he's filming this for us today. But got a super fun topic for you guys. A little bit of controversy, but I wouldn't say controversy, but we have two different phases. We're going to call it millennials. No disrespect to millennials, for lack of a better term. Millennials, I think that they're the social media gurus and they're the end all be all to business because they know how to run social media. But then you've got old school folks that have been around the business 30 years. And we're going to use lending and real estate, and because that's what we do, we're going to use that as a reference. But we've got folks that have been in the business, let's call them 40 years old and older, that have been around 20, 30 years in their business that think their traditional way, is the end all be all. And then they conflict like oil and water. In my opinion, it should be a hybrid. We should be doing both. So
you gotta respect both, right?
You gotta respect both, right? You definitely want to learn and be tech savvy. That's where things are going. But something that you can never replace: experience. Mm-hmm. You can't speed that clock up. You can't take a class on it. So if you are 40 years old and older, please watch this video. Take some notes if you like. But we're kind of in a huge support of you today. My biggest key on this is the way that we approach video, telling stories, figuring out what our strengths are and how that applies to our new career. But those of you that are 40 years old and older that have done a ton of stuff and had to build your career and build your book of business and build relationships prior to social media, holy shit. There's so much stuff that works in there, and when it comes to what you think you're trying to apply on social media, you're listening to millennials or somebody younger that has not even a quarter of the experience you do, so they're trying to create facades. No disrespect if you're not doing that, but we see a lot of that in the millennial community where entrepreneurs or people that are doing business per se are creating a facade or creating a story when it's not there, versus folks that have stories, that have built relationships, that can just document what they've done that has made them successful.
That's the crazy part of this whole thing, is that the people who are 40 plus, who have every right out there to be doing a ton of video, to be putting out a ton of content, they're usually the ones who are most afraid to do it. When you have the most content to put out because you've already done it. Most people out there who are, doing a lot of, we'll call it content, or to call themselves gurus or experts in this and that, they don't have the experience. They haven't done this.
And if you're younger, still do the hybrid. So if you're a millennial and you're doing it the right way and you're not someone that I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. You can still document what you're doing right now. You're like, lucky for you, you don't have to go back and figure out over 20 years of experience what made me successful, and then how do I tell out that content? How do I document what I've done prior? There's a lot of homework that's going to have to go into that for folks that have all of that history and that experience. If you're just starting, or if you're a couple years into your career, you don't have to create a facade. You don't have to be something that you're not. I know on a lot of pages, something super popular right now is being a public figure, okay, on social media, but you haven't done shit. And the problem that I have with that right now, to attack anybody, is, especially from a Marine Corps background, you earn every inch, and you're new, right? You go to boot camp, you're new. Then went to School of Infantry, you're a boot, you're new to School of Infantry. Then you graduate that and you think you're awesome, you're new to your unit. Then you're new to Designated Marksman School, then you're new to Scout Sniper School, then you're new to your first combat tour, then whatever maybe, then you're a new instructor. We were constantly being new and had to earn every inch. And that's something that I think we need to understand in business. If you're going to be a public figure or call yourself a public figure on social media, you can't just go out and get a video with a celebrity, have that posted, and then people think that all of a sudden now that validates you. I think people are, give people enough and humanity enough respect to think we're smarter than that. And they don't care anyway.
Or even if they do, it's short-lived. If you are able to fool somebody, it's short-lived, because the second they meet you, the second they take your course, whatever that may be, they're going to find out the truth.
Correct. And you don't have to have that to validate yourself, right? Like, just be a subject matter expert with what you do and just document where your profession is and what you like to focus on. And then just be that subject matter expert. People respect that, and they respect your hustle. They respect your grind. Like when I first started, I was super new to real estate. People thought I took off. Well, hey, you've got a great sphere. I do have a great sphere, and they all knew me from, fitness world, police world, military world. We're buying a house for me. Nobody from my sphere even talked to me about that for 6 months. But I was getting some traction with my outbound and other things where I was creating some traction. But it's okay to just document. You don't have to be that. So, it's that hybrid of, if you are experienced and you have 30 years of experience, tell your stories. I talk about Gavin a lot at Cross Country, Gavin Ekstrom, regional vice president. Right, super successful gentleman, started lending when he was 19.
Knocking on doors.
Knocking on doors.
Yeah.
I mean, doing infantry work, right? What I would call infantry work. There's so many fun stories he's shared with us. People love him and they want to hear what he did that got him to the top. They don't even necessarily know what he does anymore. So it's great to just document what got me there. And then contrary, right? There's a girl on social media right now who has not done a deal in real estate. Her Instagram blew up because she was having fun with the struggle and like showing everybody how hard it was to just get someone to trust her with a deal.
Like that, yeah.
But it was entertaining, but she was honest about her process and what she was doing. So again, guys, I think it's twofold. I know I'm going off on a tangent.
Well, yeah, and real quick, so, as far as documenting, if you're younger and you don't have those 20, 30 years of experience, the key right now is to document. If you're 40, 50 plus and you have those 20 or 30 years experience in your field, you guys built your business off of face-to-face and handshake deals, right?
Relationships. You didn't have that social media
The best thing about video that I absolutely love about video, more than any other content out there, is now there's a way to scale what made you successful to begin with. Video is the way that you can scale face-to-face, which is your personality. It's the way that you can scale that sitting down across from the table, shaking hands. That's how you built your business. Video is hands down the best way to scale that. You've already been successful doing it.
And tracking it, right?
Find a way to capture that, document what you're doing, and you can scale what already made you successful.
So again, twofold, right? Younger folks that are like super tech savvy that don't have the experience yet, you can learn so much from people with 30 years of experience on how they built their book of business and relationships prior to social media. And then folks that have that experience, you could really be giving back to the community that are very tech savvy and showing them how you became successful prior to the social media.
Yeah.
And maybe in return to helping them out, you could learn how to be a little bit more tech savvy and utilize these platform and welcome them. Don't think that there's it's oil and water so much and you're old school so you don't have to do it. No, welcome, the newer technology and how people reach each other. But again, I think if we mend that and people can learn from folks that are experienced, while folks that are experienced can learn how to be a little bit more tech savvy, I think our business would be a lot better. But it's so huge, guys. If you're a public figure or if you rate to call yourself a public figure, I still don't. I've got a page that's been developed that I don't market yet, and everything that I've done, I'm just now starting to open my mouth on a lot of things, and I think it's got to be earned. So if you're going to call yourself a public figure and you're going to put yourself in front of a celebrity and think that validates you, okay, I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do. What I am going to say is that your work ethic and your professionalism and your knowledge within your subject matter expertise, you better back it up, or people are going to figure out that you're not. And your word means everything, right? Because social media now exposes us. You can't get away with that kind of stuff as much anymore. Start over as cleanly as you think you can, because how much social media exposes us. So if you're going to go out there and be that ambitious, that's okay. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you have to have that integrity and that self-awareness to make sure you're backing that kind of stuff up. And then folks that have so much experience, you are leaving so many things on the table by not just sharing those stories and that experience and that wisdom, and then hybriding that with modern technology and projecting that and teaching so many people and just building your value beyond whatever you do with your work, how you actually got there. Super valuable.
Yeah, and my last point, if you're going to be a public figure per se, worry about being a public figure for the 15 people that actually give a shit about you. You can be a public figure for them, but most people out there, they're putting public figure on their site, they're putting out videos, and then they're just not even engaging with anyone who happens to comment on their thing because they get 5 comments and they're not happy with that because they wanted, 3,000 views or whatever.
Right.
Be the public figure for the 10 people that actually give a crap about
And
you.
grow.
Start there and then make it 11, then 12, then 20, then 50, then 100.
And
you're gonna
incrementally get
from
better.
there.
And
Right.
that's something that you guys can learn from folks that didn't have the social media back when when the world was a little bit smaller per se. Your word and your reputation was everything. So public figures prior to social media, was because everybody knew his or her name because they did a great job, and everybody knew about them because of how well word spread. Word still spreads like that nowadays, but now with modern technology, I think we're trying to shortcut it, and we don't think we need to earn that reputation. So I think something that the younger crowd, the inexperienced crowd that's great at social media technology, don't forget about being in the trenches and still earning something to your name. At the end of the day, that's what's going to validate you. That's why I feel both can gain from each other. But super huge point. We've heard a lot of that. The more experienced people are against this, but then the tech savvy people think that they've got to create a facade. Not true. They could both benefit from each other. So, but again, if you're 40 plus and you're watching this, please, if you have questions,
we're almost 40 plus.
shut your mouth, dude. I'm 34 years old.
We're almost 40 plus.
You hear how this guy talks to me? I like how he tries to.
We're the same age. I'm not
What?
something on you. 33. 34. We're close.
My 20s were in the Marine Corps. Most of my 20s were in the Marine Corps. We beat the shit out of each other. So in my 30s, I feel younger than I did in my 20s.
true.
So I feel phenomenal, by the way. I don't know what
Let's
this
throw it
guy's
to
talking
50
about.
plus. Let's throw it to 50 plus.
Spiritually, if you feel 40 plus, so it's friendly for Eli, and you feel like you could gain from that stuff, and you have questions on production, guys, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then, again, teams are everything, right? Obviously, you guys, are getting somewhat familiar with Fat and our production company, and how we've got him set up and what we're doing, but that's also possible with other folks, and maybe we can help you find somebody that can work that for you. But I think the younger crowd and the experienced crowd could leverage one another and create great teams. That just hasn't really happened yet. You still got the more experienced crowd that conflicts or that's got something to prove, and then so does the younger crowd. When really, if you guys team up and leverage one another, I think you could do a lot. I'm beating a dead horse.
That's why I got you.
Because you're old, and I'm young, and I'm new, and I'm fresh. You're the one that said we were old.
Right. It's doing all right.
Talking about, man.
Doing all right.
Until next time,
That's
hopefully you guys
guys.
see us on Friday.
Yep.
Again, if you're still watching, please reach out if you guys have any questions. But super passionate about this topic. And again, you're not going to get anywhere by yourself. Everything I've ever done and whatever I built successfully had a team behind it. Or if I helped someone build something, we had a team behind it. It's the same thing with this kind of stuff. Put people around you that have tools that you can gain from, that aren't necessarily your strengths, but that you could leverage and learn from. And then also, with respect, have something to give in return.
Yes.
So, happy Monday.
That's it.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with this old guy.
See ya.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys.